Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you? I feel like it's been a while since I have um, I feel like it's been a while since I've shown this is me playing with the light. Since I've shown my face here. Good morning. And in reality, I just didn't come on last week. Last week, I was not able to um, do our weekly chat. Um, so let me get into it. And I'm a little early, I know. I have a packed day. But so I decided to come on a little bit early and, share with you what the message for today, what is on my heart. So, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is �W𝐬𝐚𝐬. I am a leadership coach and I help new managers develop leadership influence by mastering their relationships at work and leveraging their communication skills. And throughout your leadership journey, if you are a manager, if you know you a director, whatever, you're in a leadership role, or even if you are a supervisor and you know you are you have some sort of direct influence, you have people under your charge and care, then this obviously is for you. This is for you. Um, and in every step of the way, once you're in those positions, a leadership position, you will find that you always have to work on communicating. You always have to work on, well, your confidence. Let's start there. You always have to work on your confidence, um, because you will be exposed to new situations, and especially if you're a new leader, a lot of situations are going to be new. Even if you've been working in the same company for quite some time, um, when you get into a leadership role, it's different, right? And so you're going to have to work on that. You're going to have to work on your communication for the rest of the journey. You're going to work on always having to work on your communication. It never gets old because there will be new situations. As a leader, you communicate differently. That's the first thing. You are expected to. Um, the different levels of leadership require that you communicate differently as well. Different situations require that you communicate differently. Um, value. Um, Even there are situations where it's crunch time, you just have to get things done, and so you may be given a directive, and so you don't have time to explain. So in that situation, the communication is different, right? um, in another situation, you may need to explain. You might have to take the individual that you are coaching into consideration. All right. So communi- communication never gets old. And of course, when you strengthen your communication, you deepen your relation, you work on your relationships, your work relationships. Those are key elements. You work with people, your work is done through people. And so these are the things that never get old. And it is through the working on your communication, your confidence, your work relationships that your influence gets deeper. You get to widen your influence. And so today we're talking about deepen your connection to widen your influence. And this is something that I have seen to be true, that I know to be true, that I believe. And this is just the foundation of it. But it never ever gets old. And I think this is something that if you are new in a role that you really need to pay attention to because it is the foundation of all that you do. Um, if you've been looking at me for a while, or if you just, you love what I just said and it resonated with you, you can always work with me through my coaching program, Communicate to Influence, where I teach you more strategies and I teach you more in depth and I give you the foundation, what you need to get this done. But today, I want to talk just a little about connection and how this plays out and why it's important. And so, when I talk about connection, so the topic of this live stream actually came from a post I did, I think it was last week or maybe the week before, where I was talking about how important connection was. And I ended it off by saying that deepen your connection to widen your influence. And so you may be wondering, well, what is this connection? Isn't connection communication? The truth of the matter is you can communicate, you can be eloquent, you can use the right subject verb agreement, you could be very clear, but with communication without connection, it's just really not a good thing. It's not a good formula for someone in a leadership role who really wants to make a difference. And this is, I think that the people who view the people's brand, the people who follow the people's brand, you want to make a difference. You want to do a great job. Nobody, you're not one of those leaders who you've gone into this leadership role just because of the money or the perks or whatever, or because you want to get to the next step. You really, truly, genuinely want to do a great job. And so I'm going to help you do that. So if you want to do a great job, you have to work on your connection. And connection is really that added element when you are communicating and when you're building those work relationships. So just a few things about connection. Connection has traces, has elements of empathy factored in there. And empathy has come up a lot, especially during the pandemic. And now we are, who knows, it seems like we're coming out of the pandemic. Empathy is one of those characteristics of a great leader. The ability to put yourself, to transport yourself, to understand, to put yourself in somebody's shoes. And that is, it may sound very simple, but it is something that you have to learn and you have to practice and you have to be present and you have to, it requires engagement because it is so easy for you to relate to people who are like you, who have had life experiences like you. But what about those people that you have, they're totally different. They were raised and born in a different culture. How do you do that? Well, empathy allows you to do that, but it is a rewiring of your mindset, all right? And an element of empathy is also, and connection is also listening actively. And it is the listening part that helps you with your empathy. It is allowing you to be present, to feel the energy of what the person is saying, to be engaged. In the business world, they use that word a lot, engaged, to be present. It's really feeling the energy of what the person is saying to you. And you can't do that if you are distracted, if you're on your phone, if you're checking an email while somebody's talking to you. You have to, your whole body has to be present. Your whole body has to be, you have to listen with every, your six senses. You have to listen with your intuition, your sight, what is said, what is not said. All of that deepens connection. That is how people walk away feeling heard. Okay. And then an element of connection is also having good intentions. You want to have good intentions, okay? For the persons that you are leading, you just want to be a good leader. You want to do the right thing. You want to help those. You want to be the leader um, that you are meant to be for these people, for your team. You want to be a good steward. So you want to, you're entrusted with as a leader a certain level of responsibility, and so you want to be that person, right? So you listen actively, you practice empathy, you want to you genuinely have good intentions, and you want to be the leader. Like as a leader, your job is to coach, your job is to provide guidance, your job is to support, but your job is also to hold people accountable, right? That's the part that people don't like. But I mean, for those of you who have children, does it make sense that you would not let your child do anything they want to do without some measure of accountability? There are times when children do things and you say, no, you can't do that, and this is why, and so forth. It's the same thing. It's the very same thing. And then you have to, as a leader, with the connection piece of it, because I'm still talking about, the elements of connection. With connection also comes not personalizing things, but sometimes that is difficult because we're human and we do personalize. As a leader, you do personalize. As a leader, you do get offended when people do certain things and you think that, listen, I've helped this person. Why are they doing this? What have they done to me? And it's a tendency to make it about you. It's not about you. Connection also includes forgiveness, because I think as a leader, if we're very honest, we have to forgive. We have to forgive those that are in our charge, who may do things, say things. Like I said, leaders are people too, who may disappoint us. Um, there's an element of forgiveness. And I've found this to be true in leadership. There's an element of forgiveness. Um, Otherwise, what will happen? And I've seen it. You're petty, you hold on to things, you hold on to grudges, you, you make it about you, and it's a whole thing. And then before you know it, you end up fighting and, being malicious, and you've turned into this person that in the beginning you said that you wouldn't be that way. So I think that it connection involves and leadership involves huge elements of forgiveness. I think so, because I've seen it, and I have to practice a lot of it, especially for those of you might know who may know my background is in human resources. Your background is in human resources. And so you have that because you want to be free, you want to be light, you want to be able to operate with a certain level of you know um I don't know what the word is, but uh freedom, let's use that. But connection, elements of connection, when I speak about connection, you want it involve all those things. And so when you think about it, if you are um, infusing working on your work relationships, whether it is with your boss, your peers, whomever in the organization, your work relationships in general, and you're working on bettering your communication, and there are elements of all these things involved. It it is it changes. It's different from somebody who's just communicating, or somebody who's just saying, well, I'm the leader. It's different. It's different, different, very different. And so, on that note, I just wanted to just share that with you and really transition into just showing you how connection shows up in, just reminding you that it shows up in the different life cycles and the different areas of an employee's journey, right? And everybody goes through the same journey. So the employee's journey, would be the first thing is the interview process, right? And you're going to need to work on connection during the interview process. Um, this is how you get the candidate that you desire. And don't get me wrong, sometimes we do hire the wrong people for the wrong jobs. They're not the right fit for the company, they're not the right fit for the job. Maybe they're in the right company, but maybe not so much the right job. But connection allows you to really tap into the candidate that you're interviewing. And so, as a leader, if you want to be an influential leader, you're tapping into that. Okay, you're listening, you're being empathetic, you're present, you're engaged, you're picking up on that energy. And so in the interview process, you're using that connection element. Another step in the journey is onboarding. When you have to onboard someone, and onboarding would be that period during their introductory period, or what you would say as their probationary period. I don't like the word probationary. I don't like it. I like the word introductory. Introductory period. Um, and so when you're onboarding, you need that connection because you need to understand how um hold on, let me just see if there's any comments here. Okay, on Facebook. Um, Connection allows you to be able to really, if you have a new hire in your department, it allows you to tailor your training. Maybe someone, you may have a new hire, someone in your department that learns by um, they want a challenge and they want to be thrown out there and they want to try first, and their learning style is different, where you might have someone else who is maybe more shy, more timid. They need a little bit more coaching, they need things explained more in depth, they need to know the why. Like, I know for me, I need to know why, I need to understand the mechanics behind the thing before I get it. Okay, and there are people like that. And so connection allows you to, if you're really listening, if you're really asking the right question, if you're connected and you're communicating well, then you are going to be able to pick up on the learning styles and how you should tailor your training when you're onboarding your that new person, right? um, if you don't, you may very well get, you know separate or terminate someone who could very well be a great individual. And so you want to be mindful of that. And even within your own self, you know how you learn, and you should be able to speak up and communicate how you like to learn. If you're being taught in a role, right, you should be able to do that. um, the next step in the employee journey would be all about retaining that employee and developing them. All right. We're not just here to shoot orders, to tell people what to do. I know some people grew up with managers who do that. And if you're guilty of doing that right now and you're listening to me, that's not what we do. Not, we do more, leaders do more than that. And so the next step is really about their performance. And you have to be, again, you have to use connection with that, because you when you're leading people, you're dealing with personalities, you're solving issues, you're removing obstacles for them to be able to do their jobs well, you're resolving conflict, whether it's between departments, your department and someone else's, or you're resolving conflict with between the people amongst your team. Maybe they're not getting along, maybe there's some issue there. And all of these things, you need to be connected and you need to communicate well, in order to get to the root of the problem. Okay. um and then when it comes time for persons to leave, whether they're leaving on their own accord, maybe they're going on to bigger and better, greater things, they're going after school, or in the unfortunate event where you have to, maybe they've done something that, is against the company policy and you have to separate from them, you still need connection, you still need empathy. People must walk away. I've done many terminations, and you still need people to walk away feeling respected. You still need, even if they were wrong, they were grossly wrong. You still need people walking away feeling heard, respected. They may not like the decision, um, but people must walk away feeling, at the end of the day, when they reflect, they must say, okay, I felt heard, I felt respected, I didn't feel like, you know, um, any type of negativity, right? And this is an art, this is something that if you want to be an influential leader, you have to be clued in. And so I just wanted to show how throughout the journey, the employee journey, really you are using all these tools. You're working on your connection. You have to widen your connection because, like I said, listening, empathy, you know, um, really having good intentions about your team, about, yourself and your leadership. You're not here just for yourself. I was having a conversation with someone this week, and I said, I take this very seriously. We are not, I don't believe the role that I have been put in is just for me to collect, like a paycheck or get whatever benefits. For those of you who don't know, I am still working my 9 to 5 as an HR director. And I'm not just put there just because I am put there, I think, because I'm a very spiritual person. I think God put me there for a reason. I think um, my goal is to help others, especially people who, like my younger self, right? People who really want to grow and develop. I really and truly believe that. And the People's brand is an extension of that, because there are so many persons that get into a leadership role. They're managing people and they have no clue, and they don't have good leadership, and they don't have someone to tell them. They don't have great role models, and sometimes you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And this is why I'm here. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. But a connection allows you to be a good leader. It does. Connecting with people, working on your communication, and building a better work relationship with the team that you have, your bosses, your peers, that sort of thing. All right. And so the weekly chats, that's it. That's all I have for you today. I really hope that you find something helpful in what I have just said. Let me know. You can shoot me a DM. You can respond in the comment section if you are looking at the replay. I'd love to hear from you. Um, this is what keeps me going. Um, the comments, the thank yous. I know that there are some people that they would not comment, but they would not comment, but they'll meet me in the street and they'll say, "Oh, I look at your video. It has helped me so much, and this is why I do it, because I know it's needed. It is needed." And so, thank you so much for joining me on another weekly chat. I will speak to you next week. And just a reminder, if you love the content, if you want to develop your influential leadership, um, if you want to develop influential leadership, sorry, yes, please um, reach out. I do have a program. It's called Communicate to Influence, and this is how you can work with me to develop that. So have a great Saturday. And for those of you who are mothers, happy Mother's Day. Tomorrow is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. Have a fabulous one. And I will speak to you soon. All right. Bye.